United versus Arsenal. The press conference battle that reveals everything about Sunday's clash. Welcome back to United News, where we don't just report what happened. We tell you what it really means for Manchester United's future. While other outlets give you surface-level quotes and recycled talking points, we dive deep into the psychology, tactics, and hidden messages that shape the biggest games of the season. Today, we're dissecting the most revealing press conferences of the year so far. Picture this moment. Two of the Premier League's most passionate managers sit in front of cameras, knowing that every word they say will be analyzed, dissected, and used as ammunition by fans and rivals alike. But here's what makes this special. In their answers, Ruben Amorim and Mikel Arteta have accidentally revealed their deepest fears, biggest strengths, and master plans for Sunday's blockbuster clash at Old Trafford. What did Amorim really mean when he talked about confidence? Why is Arteta suddenly talking about having 3 or 4 players per position? And most importantly, which manager's words suggest they're really ready to win this battle? The answers might surprise you, and they could tell us everything we need to know about who will come out on top when these two giants collide. Amorim's confidence. Real progress or calculated mind games? Let's start with the most important revelation from Ruben Amorim's press conference. When asked about his confidence compared to last season, the Portuguese manager was surprisingly honest. "I'm really more confident. That is clear. I'm more confident in this moment." But what does this confidence really mean, and should United fans believe it? Looking deeper into Amorim's words, there are several reasons why his confidence seems genuine rather than just manager speak. First, he acknowledges the limitations. It's hard to know, because we cannot change everything in 4 weeks. But we are better. This kind of honest assessment suggests Amorim isn't just trying to convince the media. He's genuinely seeing improvements in training that give him reason to believe. When a manager admits they can't change everything quickly but still expresses confidence, it usually means the changes they have made are significant. But perhaps most telling is what Amorim said about preparation. "I know we are training better and harder, so I know that we are more prepared to cope with the demands of the game." This isn't about tactics or individual players, it's about mentality and physical conditioning. If United are indeed training harder and with more purpose, that could be the difference between last season's inconsistency and this season's potential success. However, there's also a calculated element to Amorim's confidence. By publicly stating he feels better about the team, he's putting pressure on his players to live up to that belief. It's a psychological trick that many successful managers use, expressing confidence to create confidence. The question United fans should ask is, does Amorim have good reason for this confidence? Or is he trying to convince himself as much as everyone else? The Sesko factor. Why this signing changes everything. One of the most revealing parts of Amorim's press conference was his discussion of Benjamin Sesko. But it wasn't just what he said about the striker that was interesting, it was how he said it. "I can see Ben being a striker for Manchester United for a lot of years. That's why we paid so much money to have a striker that will have his history in our club." This statement tells us several important things about United's transfer strategy and Amorim's long-term thinking. First, the phrase "have his history in our club" suggests United aren't just buying a player for immediate impact. They're investing in someone they believe will become a club legend. But perhaps more interesting is Amorim's description of Sesko's mentality. "The guy is always thinking. He spends all afternoon here working on his fitness, so he's ready to play." This obsession with preparation and improvement is exactly what United have been missing in recent years. Too many signings have been talented players who didn't have the right mentality for the pressure and demands of playing for Manchester United. When Amorim says, "I have the opposite problem with Sesko," meaning he needs to tell him to enjoy himself rather than work harder, it reveals something crucial about the striker's character. But here's what's really interesting. Amorim confirmed Sesko is ready to start against Arsenal. This isn't just about fitness. It's about Amorim having complete faith in a player who is barely trained with the team. What does this tell us about Sesko's quality and mentality? And more importantly, what does it tell us about how Amorim plans to approach this crucial opening game? The midfield mystery. Reading between Amorim's lines. Perhaps the most diplomatically handled topic in Amorim's press conference was the midfield situation. When asked directly if he wants a new midfielder, His response was telling, "I'm really happy with our players. They are working really well. We have different players for that position, so we are prepared to win any game with our players." On the surface, this sounds like a manager who's content with his options. But experienced United watchers know that managers rarely express dissatisfaction with their current players in public, especially so close to a big game. The more revealing part came when Amorim was asked about players who could step into midfield. "Maybe Mason Mount is a player that I think can play in that position if we want something different." This suggestion of using Mount in central midfield is fascinating for several reasons. First, it shows Amorim is thinking creatively about how to solve United's midfield challenges with existing personnel. Second, it reveals that he sees Mount as more than just an attacking midfielder or winger. The phrase, "if we want something different," suggests Mount could offer tactical flexibility that other midfielders don't provide. But there's also a subtext here. By publicly discussing Mount in midfield, Amorim might be preparing fans for the possibility that new midfield signings won't arrive. It's a way of managing expectations while also putting subtle pressure on the club's recruitment team. The question is Amorim genuinely excited about using Mount in this role? Or is he making the best of a difficult situation? Bruno's evolution, the tactical shift that could define United's season. One of the most tactically significant parts of Amorim's press conference was his discussion of Bruno Fernandes and how the new signings affect his role. Even last season when he played as a midfielder, he was maybe the player that had more shots near the box. So I think it's a good thing also for Bruno to stay a little during trainings in one position. This reveals a crucial tactical evolution in how Amorim wants to use his captain. Instead of Bruno roaming freely and trying to do everything, Amorim wants him to have a more defined role while still maintaining his goal threat. The key phrase is, "I want Bruno near the ball, so that is really important for our team." This suggests Amorim sees Bruno as the conductor of United's orchestra, rather than a solo performer trying to create magic from nothing. But here's what's really interesting. We have now players with different characteristics that can cope with that, so we will try to arrange game by game the players in the best position. This reveals a crucial tactical evolution in how Amorim wants to use his captain. Instead of Bruno roaming freely and trying to do everything, Amorim wants him to have a more defined role while still maintaining his goal threat. The key phrase is, "I want Bruno near the ball, so that is really important for our team." This suggests Amorim sees Bruno as the conductor of United's orchestra, rather than a solo performer trying to create magic from nothing. But here's what's really interesting. We have now players with different characteristics that can cope with that, so we will try to arrange game by game the players in the best position. This indicates that United's new signings have given Amorim the tactical flexibility to use Bruno more effectively. Instead of relying on him to solve every attacking problem, other players can now take on some of those responsibilities. What does this mean for Sunday's game against Arsenal? If Bruno can focus on his core strengths, finding space, creating chances, and shooting from good positions, rather than trying to do everything, United could be much more dangerous going forward. Arteta's evolution, from challenger to expected champion. Switching to the Arsenal side, Mikel Arteta's press conference revealed a manager who has subtly shifted from challenger to expected champion. This psychological change could be crucial for Sunday's game. When asked about title expectations, Arteta was bullish. Yes, especially the consistency that we've shown in the last 3 years. The margins, we know how small they are, we know the competition as well has increased the level. This confidence is backed up by results. Arsenal have been consistently excellent for 3 seasons. But there's also added pressure that comes with being expected to win rather than hoping to compete. Arteta's comment that, for 3 seasons, we have more points than any other team in this league, shows he believes Arsenal deserve to be favorites. But it also reveals the frustration of being so close to success without getting over the line. The question is, will this expectation help or hinder Arsenal when they face a United team with nothing to lose? The Gyokeres gambit, Arsenal's secret weapon. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Arteta's press conference was his discussion of Victor Gyokeres. While he couldn't reveal tactical details, his enthusiasm was obvious. I think he's going to have a tremendous impact on the team. But what's really interesting is how both managers discussed Gyokeres. Amorim, who knows him well from Sporting, said, "Victor is in a different league. the physicality is different. This mutual respect between managers who know the player well suggests Gyokeres could be a major factor in Sunday's game. Amorim's comment that it's going to be different if we face in the beginning of the game if we face Victor or Havertz shows he's already thinking about how to defend against the Swedish striker. For Arsenal, having a striker that even opposing managers respect could be a huge psychological advantage. When your opponent's manager is publicly acknowledging your new signing's quality, you know you've made a good acquisition. The captain's choice. What Odegaard's leadership means. One of the most revealing moments in Arteta's press conference was his discussion of Martin Odegaard's captaincy. The process he described was fascinating. I asked them to vote for the captain and I got the result yesterday. By a mile, by a big 100 marks, everybody's choosing the same person. This unanimous choice tells us something important about Arsenal's dressing room unity. When players overwhelmingly choose the same captain, it suggests strong team cohesion and clear respect for leadership. But it also puts pressure on Odegaard to perform. Being chosen by your teammates as captain is an honor, but it also means they expect you to lead by example in the biggest games. For Sunday's match, having a captain who is universally respected by his teammates could give Arsenal an edge in crucial moments when leadership and composure are needed most. Injury updates. The hidden factors that could decide the game. Both managers provided injury updates that could significantly impact Sunday's game. For United, Amorim confirmed that Nunes Mazraoui and Licha Martinez are out. They cannot play in this game. Losing Martinez is particularly significant because he's one of United's most aggressive and composed defenders. His absence could give Arsenal's attackers more opportunities to find space and create chances. However, Amorim also confirmed that Josh Zirkzee recovered. Andre Onana recovered. They are options for this game. Having these players available gives United more tactical flexibility and depth. For Arsenal, Arteta was optimistic about Leandro Trossard. I think he's much better. I think he will be able to train again tomorrow, and if that's the case, he will be fit. Trossard's availability could be crucial because he offers pace and direct running that could exploit United's defensive changes. His ability to play multiple positions also gives Arteta tactical options during the game. The psychological battle. Who has the mental edge? Reading between the lines of both press conferences, there's a fascinating psychological battle taking place between these two managers and their teams. Amorim's approach seems to be about building confidence while managing expectations. His repeated emphasis on taking things game by game suggests he's trying to keep pressure off his players while building belief gradually. His comment that I learned a lot last season. One of the things that I learned is that I don't need to focus a lot in the future shows a manager who has adapted his approach based on experience. Arteta, on the other hand, seems to be embracing pressure and expectations. His confidence about title chances and his emphasis on having improved squad depth suggests he believes this is Arsenal's time to deliver. The question is, which approach will work better in this specific game? Will Amorim's measured confidence help United play without fear? Or will Arteta's high expectations motivate Arsenal to deliver their best performance? Tactical clues. What the press conferences reveal about game plans. Both managers were careful not to reveal too much about their tactical plans, but there were subtle clues about how they might approach the game. Amorim's discussion of Sesko being ready to start suggests United might go with a more direct approach, using the striker's physicality to trouble Arsenal's defense. His comments about having more than 3 attackers fighting for places also hints at an attacking setup. The potential use of Mount in midfield suggests Amorim might be planning for a high-energy, pressing game where United try to match Arsenal's intensity in the middle of the park. Arteta's comments about having 3 and 4 players per position suggests he's planning for tactical flexibility during the game. His confidence about squad depth indicates Arsenal might try to use their superior fitness and quality in the later stages of the match. The transfer window factor. How unfinished business affects performance. Both managers addressed transfer window questions, and their responses reveal different levels of satisfaction with their squad building. Amorim's diplomatic response about midfield reinforcements suggests United might still be working on deals behind the scenes. This uncertainty could affect team chemistry and planning. Arteta's satisfaction with Arsenal's transfer business, combined with his comments about improved squad depth, suggests Arsenal are in a better position going into the season. However, United's late transfer activity with Sesko shows they're still making moves to improve. The question is whether these last-minute additions will help or hurt team preparation for such an important opening game. The pressure factor, different expectations, different challenges. One of the most striking differences between the two press conferences was how each manager handled pressure and expectations. Amorim repeatedly emphasized realistic expectations and taking things step by step. His goal of returning to Europe is ambitious but achievable, and he's being careful not to promise more than he can deliver. Arteta, conversely, is embracing the pressure of being title favorites. His confidence suggests Arsenal are ready to handle the expectation that comes with being one of the Premier League's best teams. This difference in approach could be crucial on Sunday. United players might feel liberated by lower expectations, while Arsenal players might feel motivated by the belief that this is their time to win major trophies. Squad depth. The long-term battle beyond Sunday. Both managers made interesting comments about squad depth that reveal their long-term thinking beyond just this game. Arteta's emphasis on having multiple players per position suggests Arsenal are built for a long campaign across multiple competitions. His comment that the season is going to be so demanding shows he's already thinking about rotation and maintaining performance levels throughout the year. Amorim's focus on having players fighting for places suggests he wants internal competition to drive performance levels up. However, United's squad depth still appears to be work in progress. For Sunday's game, Arsenal's superior depth might not matter much. But over the course of the season, this difference could become crucial in determining which team achieves their objectives. The academy factor, youth versus experience. Arteta spent considerable time discussing Arsenal's academy graduates, revealing pride in how young players have integrated into the first team. This suggests Arsenal have successfully built a pipeline of talent that can contribute immediately. The emphasis on young players performing at the highest level without any professional experience shows Arsenal's academy is producing players with the mentality to succeed at the top level. United's approach seems more focused on buying proven talent and integrating it carefully. Amorim's detailed discussion of Sesko's mentality suggests he values mental strength as much as technical ability. Both approaches have merit, but they reveal different philosophies about building successful teams. Arsenal are betting on homegrown talent complemented by key signings, while United are focusing on acquiring proven winners who can raise the overall level. The historical context. Why this game matters more than most. Both managers acknowledged the historical significance of United versus Arsenal fixtures, but their perspectives revealed different relationships with the club's histories. Arteta's comment that there's some great memories shows his respect for the fixture's tradition. His reference to massive characters playing for both teams suggests he understands the weight of history in these games. Amorim's approach seems more focused on the present and future. His emphasis on taking things game by game suggests he doesn't want to be weighed down by historical expectations or comparisons. This difference could be significant. Will Arsenal's connection to the fixture's history inspire them to produce a classic performance? Or will United's focus on the present help them play without the burden of past disappointments? Reading the subtext, what they didn't say. Sometimes what managers don't say is as important as what they do say. Both Amorim and Arteta were careful to avoid certain topics or give diplomatic answers that might reveal their true thoughts. Amorim's careful responses about transfers suggest United are still active in the market but don't want to discuss ongoing negotiations. His refusal to criticize any current players while discussing potential changes hints at ongoing squad evaluation. Arteta's confidence about his squad might mask some concerns about certain players or positions. His emphasis on competition for places could be a way of motivating players who might be feeling secure in their positions. Both managers also avoided making bold predictions about results, but their body language and tone suggested different levels of confidence about their team's chances. The referee factor, how rule changes might affect the game. Arteta's discussion of refereeing changes from last season was particularly interesting. His comment that Arsenal were really punished for those few weeks suggests lingering frustration about how certain decisions affected their season. However, his optimism about clearer guidelines for this season suggests Arsenal believe they'll benefit from more consistent officiating. For a team that likes to press aggressively and play with intensity, clear rules about physical contact could be advantageous. United, under Amorim's more disciplined approach, might also benefit from clearer officiating guidelines. Both teams play with intensity, so consistent refereeing could lead to a more flowing, entertaining game. The mental health aspect, managing player psychology. Both managers touched on the psychological aspects of managing players, though in different ways. Amorim's comment about learning to live day by day like my players shows he's adapted his management style to reduce pressure and anxiety. His focus on the immediate future rather than long-term outcomes suggests a more mindful approach to management. Arteta's confidence and positive energy seem designed to create belief and enthusiasm in his players. His emphasis on having a big smile on my face and being very enthusiastic suggests he's using his own energy to motivate the team. Both approaches have merit, but they represent different philosophies about how to get the best out of players under pressure. Preseason lessons. How summer preparation shapes season success. Both managers referenced their preseason experiences, offering insights into how they prepared their teams for the new campaign. Amorim's honesty about not being able to change everything in 4 weeks shows realistic expectations about the time needed for tactical and cultural changes. However, his confidence about training improvements suggests the preseason work has been effective within its limitations. Arteta's description of a really productive preseason and the evolution in the squad suggests Arsenal used their preparation time effectively to integrate new players and implement tactical changes. The question is, which team will see the benefits of their preseason work translate into immediate results when the pressure is on in a competitive match? The verdict. What the press conferences tell us about Sunday. After analyzing every word, gesture, and subtext from both press conferences, what can we conclude about Sunday's game? Amorim's measured confidence suggests United are genuinely improved, but still a work in progress. His tactical hints about using Sesko and potentially Mount in midfield suggest an attacking approach that could surprise Arsenal. Arteta's bullish confidence and emphasis on squad depth suggests Arsenal believe this is their time to deliver. His satisfaction with transfer business and preseason preparation indicates a team ready to start the season strongly. The psychological battle seems evenly matched, United with nothing to lose and everything to gain. Arsenal with high expectations but also the confidence that comes from sustained success. From a tactical perspective, both managers seem prepared for an intense, high-quality game where small margins could be decisive. What this means for the season ahead. Beyond Sunday's result, these press conferences reveal broader truths about both clubs' trajectories. United appear to be in transition, improved from last season but still building towards their final form under Amorim. The emphasis on young, hungry players like Sesko suggests a long-term project that might take time to reach its peak. Arsenal seem ready to compete at the highest level immediately. Their confidence, depth, and tactical sophistication suggest a team that expects to challenge for major honors this season. The question is whether United's upward trajectory can intersect with Arsenal's peak form in a way that makes for compelling competition throughout the season. Final thoughts. The press conference winners and losers. If we had to declare a winner from the press conference battle, it might be Arteta by a narrow margin. His confidence seemed more genuine, his preparation more thorough, and his tactical options more varied. However, Amorim's honesty and realistic approach could be exactly what United need. Sometimes admitting limitations while showing genuine improvement is more convincing than overstated confidence. The real winners, of course, will be determined on the pitch. But these press conferences have given us fascinating insights into the minds of two excellent managers who are approaching this crucial game with very different strategies and expectations. What's certain is that Sunday's game has all the ingredients to be a classic two well-prepared teams, two confident managers, and the kind of historical significance that brings out the best in players and fans alike. At Unite United News, we'll continue to provide the deep analysis and insider insights that help you understand not just what happens, but why it happens and what it means for Manchester United's future. Thanks for joining us for this comprehensive breakdown of the press conference battle that sets up Sunday's blockbuster clash. Make sure you stay connected with Unite United News for all the post-match analysis, tactical breakdowns, and exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else. Remember, when it comes to Manchester United, every word matters, every gesture tells a story, and every press conference can reveal the secrets that determine success or failure. At Unite United News, we don't just report the news. We decode it, analyze it, and help you understand what it really means for the club we all love. Keep the red flag flying high, and get ready for what promises to be one of the most important games of the season. The talking is done. Now it's time to see which manager's words will be backed up by their team's performance.